Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fantastic episode of The Left Wing. I am TJ Whitehead, powers taken not given, joined as always by Nobel Peace Prize nominee John Cooper of Counterpoint Politics. How are you doing today, my friend?
Doing today, TJ. I personally ascribe to the Marcus Aurelius school of thought when it comes to the Nobel Peace Prize, and that's if you want a Nobel Peace Prize, you shouldn't have a Nobel Peace Prize. It's one of those things where I'm just like, okay, I understand normies who don't pay attention to things, not understanding why Trump's policies are devastating. Like, it's dumb, but I get it. I don't understand how someone can hear someone is begging for a Nobel Peace Prize and go, that's probably a good person.
Yeah, that's true. For those of you wondering what we're talking about, Donald Trump has been obsessed with this idea of getting a Nobel Peace Prize. Honestly, ever since Obama was nominated or was awarded a Nobel Peace Prize, I think in 2009. Now, I remember when this happened and conservatives lost their minds on it. Now, what they said was true. Like Obama had just been elected, and he was seen as someone who would cease the aggression of the United States overseas, put an end to the casual violence of the Bush administration. And he was essentially preemptively awarded a Nobel Peace Prize, like his first year in office, or maybe even before he was inaugurated. I can't remember exactly when, but it was super early. And conservatives were really upset about that. Now, Trump, ever since that day, and especially since he's been elected president back in 2016 and 2024, he's been droning on and on about this Nobel Peace Prize thing, and he won't shut up about it.
I like the little droning there.
Yeah.
No, it is one of those things where Democrats in general really should condemn that Nobel Peace Prize from Obama, because he didn't fucking deserve it. Not only did he not deserve it at the time it was given, but the rest of his presidency basically solidified the fact that he definitely doesn't fucking deserve it. I'm pretty sure he dropped more bombs than any other president in my lifetime, and that's including Bush. Certainly, the drone strike military program rapidly escalated under the Obama administration. I will give Biden credit. If it wasn't for Israel, Biden would have been probably one of the most peaceful presidents we've ever had. And it is a shame that he decided to pick that side of that battle in history. But otherwise, he would have remembered at least decently well for peaceful foreign policy. But yeah, Obama doesn't deserve it. The Republicans are right about that. But I really don't give a shit about their opinion if they agree that Donald fucking Trump deserves a Nobel Peace Prize.
I agree with not caring about their opinion, although I will disagree with you in that I don't think Democrats should disavow Obama's Nobel Peace Prize. Fuck them. Just rub it in their face. Just gloat. It's what they would do, right? And honestly, it's one of the best. So one of the best things about being a conservative, being a Republican, is that you get to vice signal. You get to express how terrible a person you are about things you do not care about. So if they use slurs in front of you, it's going to upset you, but they don't really care about it. Oh, yeah, it doesn't make me feel bad. We don't give a shit that Barack Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize. They absolutely care. They absolutely care. So, yeah, brag about it. Rub it in their face. Pretend it means a lot to you and dunk on them because, Trump's not going to win one.
But do they really? Like, Donald Trump cares. I would do that to Donald Trump. I would twist the knife. No. I don't feel like the average Republican gives a flying fuck about the Nobel Peace Prize.
I don't think they care about the Nobel Peace Prize. They care that Obama won it. They hate that. Yeah, they hate it. So I would rub it in their face. And we're going to get into Trump and Iran, which, John, I'll wait for it. Like, I got to say this. But, okay, this is, I don't know if you saw this, but this is Trump. This is from this weekend or a couple of days ago or something. And fuck it, I'll just read it. And
the fact that I'm seeing a little thumbnail of your screen share right now, and it's just a wall of text, and I'm like, I don't even know which one that's referring to.
Oh, God.
It's pretty bad.
God, it's so bad. This is what made Twitter so great back in the day. I remember when I first started using Twitter, I was telling people how much I loved it. I said that Twitter was essentially like, in X-Men, when Professor Xavier can read the minds of mutants
Uh-huh.
all over the world with Cerebro. It's like that for news. That's how I tried to tell people what Twitter was back then, and it was great. And the worst thing Twitter did, well, second worst thing Twitter ever did, was get rid of the or lower
Oh,
raise
yes.
the character
When
limit.
they raised it from 120 to 240, that was the right move.
Yeah,
After
that was fun.
that,
Yeah,
it ruined it.
terrible, awful. Because back then you had to earn people following you and paying
It took
attention to you.
skill. It took skill, especially
John,
at the 120.
oh God, John, yeah, of course, we're right on the same track here. Like any asshole can write 9 paragraphs, but if you want to be clever and use wit and you're forced to have brevity, goddamn, you know it's a good person to follow. But now you get monstrosities like this shit. You guys probably can't
They're
even
getting
read it.
longer too, TJ. I
Yes.
don't know if you've noticed that. The tirades on True Social have been getting longer and more deranged.
Yeah, this one is a bad one. This is a bad one. Okay, here we go. From the President of the United States, I am very happy to report that I have arranged, along with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, a wonderful treaty between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda. In their war, which is known for violent bloodshed and death, more so even than most other wars, and has gone on for decades, representatives from Rwanda and the Congo will be in Washington on Monday to sign documents. This is a great day for Africa and, quite frankly, a great day for the world. I won't get a Nobel Peace Prize for this. I won't get a Nobel Peace Prize for stopping the war between India and Pakistan. I won't get a Nobel Peace Prize for stopping the war between Serbia and Kosovo. I won't get a Nobel Peace Prize for keeping peace between Egypt and Ethiopia, a massive Ethiopian-built dam, stupidly financed by the United States of America, substantially reduces the water flowing into the Nile River. And I won't get a Nobel Peace Prize for doing the Abraham Accords in the Middle East, which, if all goes well, will be loaded to the brim with additional countries signing on and will unify the Middle East for the first time in ages. No, I won't get a Nobel Peace Prize no matter what I do, including Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Iran, whatever those outcomes may be. But the people know, and that's all that matters to me. I don't know about you, John, but the man's convinced me. He does not care about getting a Nobel Peace Prize. It's what the people think that actually matters to him.
TJ, I don't often say this, but I agree with Donald Trump. He's not going to get a Nobel Peace Prize no matter what he does. He's not going to get a Nobel Peace Prize for the same reason I won't get a Nobel Peace Prize for ending wars or negotiating these conflicts. That's because he didn't even do it. Like the India and Pakistan one. Did you see that Modi came out? He's like, yeah, no, Trump wasn't involved with that at all. I don't know why he's saying this.
Yeah, honestly, I have no idea what he's talking about with Congo and Rwanda. I don't
no fucking clue.
No
I read
idea.
that and I was like, I don't really
No
care
idea.
enough to know what he's talking about here.
If it's anything like the rest of them, I know like Serbia and Kosovo was settled decades ago.
Yeah.
I really don't know why that one came up. The Abraham Accords. It's hilarious. Republicans still trot this out every now and then, where they say Donald Trump got peace in the Middle East by negotiating a trade deal between the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. I was like, yeah, were they fighting ever? Or was there anything on board with that? I don't know. It's just but Trump's just the whining man. I will never get a Nobel Peace Prize no matter what I do. It is childish shit. But he's the alpha. He's the strong alpha leader that they all love, and it's pretty pathetic.
It is pathetic, TJ. I don't understand why. I guess normies aren't seeing these True Social posts like only we are. So I guess I kind of get that. But just like it happens all the time where he just says something whiny and pathetic, and you're just like, why is this a man that inspires people to follow him? I truly don't understand it. And like no one says that about Obama. No one looks at, even the Republicans don't look at Obama and go, I don't understand why that man inspires people.
Right.
Everyone gets it. Everyone gets it. But Trump just doesn't do that for me. There's even Republicans who I would say that about. I understand, for example, how Mitch McConnell inspires people to follow him. Not because of any charisma, but just because he gets shit done. And you follow that guy because he has a track record of accomplishment. Even like a Marjorie Taylor Greene. I understand why people who are like her follow her. She's a great avatar for them.
Yeah.
I guess I can make that to a certain extent about Trump. But even then, the type of person who likes Trump because they view him as an avatar for themselves doesn't like whiny, complaining little shits. It's very weird how I understand how they like Pete Hegseth. I don't understand how they like Donald Trump. Does that make sense? I guess it's just like, reinforced at this point that they just have to follow this guy. But it is weird that he's the guy.
I don't. So yeah, because you have like three different types of people here. You have the folks that you're describing, who Trump is like their avatar. They love who he is because Trump is who they are. They're whiny, they're petulant, they're lazy, they're uneducated, and not just uneducated because there's nothing wrong with being uneducated. Not everybody is, but they're stupid. They're just not intelligent people, and they're crass, they're crude, they're racist. They're like, that's one of us. I love the fact that he represents me. That group I get, right? But like you said, those are the people least likely to see these Truth Social posts.
No, I guess that's true.
Yeah, the people that are likely to see it are going to be the huge Trump fans, the online folks that follow his every move.
The sycophants, yeah.
Yeah, and those folks weird me out. I don't understand them at all. Like, they actually see what's going on and they love it. Like, oh, I approve of this, but I'm smart enough to kind of pay attention to politics. And then you have a third group who are the politicians who actually hate Trump, who I know. Can you imagine getting up every morning and they have to kiss his ass? They have no choice. They've got to go out there. The other day, I saw a great example of this. We all did, I'm sure. After Trump had bombed Iran, which we haven't even talked about on the show, by the way. Like, right? Like, that happened after Thursday. Yeah. That we bombed the country of Iran, and it's fourth level news right now.
Yep.
And so Trump put out a bunch of messages on this. One of them was, his surrogates like Hegseth and Vance and all the other clowns out there. They said this is a targeted strike. This is not about anything else. This is not about regime change. Within 12 hours, Trump tweeted out, yes, I want regime change. And they had to go out there and say, well, this is what he actually meant. Can you imagine waking up every morning having to do this? Like, every morning they get out of bed having no idea what Trump is going to say and what defense they have to play. And it keeps working. It keeps working. It's just until it costs them their job. But that's got to be exhausting.
It's funny because I thought this about his like aides during the first term.
Yeah,
like the peons, that people that just had to shift with the breeze like Trump does. But for the most part, he was kept within, like, he had bumpers up, like he was staying in. It was a wide lane. It was crazy, but he had a lane to stay in. The Secretary of Defense wasn't having to do this for him. But now it's the big,
right.
Like, now it's peace. Now it's the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Like, it's the actual people who have real important jobs are the ones having to just get up every day and shift with the winds depending on how Trump is feeling. And that is very funny. Before we go to go into Iran, because I do want to talk about Iran, obviously. This is our Q&A show. So if you guys have any questions, make sure to put them in the comments. But Colby has a question here. And he asked us, what is our favorite sex pest president used for campaigning that you're not allowed to criticize? And TJ, just based on that question, Colby follows me on Threads, so he knows the wars that I'm fighting on there. But who do you think he's referring to?
It's got to be William Jefferson Clinton, right? Is that who we're talking about?
It is one Billy Boy, TJ. I actually, sometimes I kick the hornet's nest, and I know that I'm kicking the hornet's nest, right, TJ? And not that this was a big kerfuffle, but I posted essentially, I forget exactly what I posted, but I was like, hey, Democrats should really be disavowing Bill, and we talked about this show, Bill Clinton for being a sexual predator. And the fact that they do not is incredibly hypocritical and speaks to the moral rot within the party. And people got fucking pissed about this, TJ.
Really?
People got really.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, a lot of them assumed I was a Republican. Like, a lot of just straight shots, like, oh, well, you're okay with Trump doing this, this, and this. And I'm like, bro, everyone who criticizes Democrats isn't a Republican. That actually shocked me because I didn't say it like a Republican would, and also there's not like Republicans attacking Bill Clinton right now. So I found that to be very weird. But then there was other ones that were like, what? How is this relevant? We have Trump in office. And I'm like,
yeah.
First of all, it's relevant because it speaks to the kind of people we have opposing him. It's also relevant because he endorsed fucking Cuomo, who is another sexual predator who might get a real position of power within the Democratic Party again. I feel like this is all fucking relevant. But yeah, I know we've talked about it before, TJ, but I was actually surprised so many people were going to bat for Bill fucking Clinton. I thought that would be kind of a, 30 likes, my followers like it, and we move on, but people got pissed.
Yeah, it is weird when you run across that because I don't know. It's a lot of, hey, don't criticize my team. And the answer that you said some of them turned in with, hey, why are we focusing on this when there's the coward's last refuge? Fuck you if you ever say that. Like, listen, if you think someone is making an argument that is irrelevant, why are you addressing them? Why are you wasting your time? Like,
why are you feeding the algorithm and spreading the argument?
Yeah, like the last thing I would ever do is try to engage with someone who's making an argument that has nothing to do with this topic. It does, because he is a figure. And by the way, he is a drain on the party overall.
Yeah,
I would love to see the benefit that we get. I think maybe there's a lot of maybe like Hillary Clinton supporters, and they see him as like a proxy. Oh, you're just trying to attack Hillary. I mean, do you remember when Trump ran for office and he brought up the fact that Bill Clinton had all these sexual assault issues, and he brought all the women who would accuse Bill Clinton of sexual assault? I mean, I don't know if it did anything to help him win the election. It didn't hurt him enough to lose, though, and it's true. And it's true that, yeah, we can agree. I think a lot of us can agree that I don't think the president should have been impeached over what happened with Monica Lewinsky, but yeah, that was fucked up. Like, you should, whether like anything else, like all the other stuff, but him fucking his intern as the president, not cool. That's an abuse of power right there.
TJ, I will go as far as to say he should have been impeached for sexually assaulting an intern. He shouldn't have been impeached for lying about it. The reason he was impeached was kind of secondary to the very awful thing that he did that would have been worthy of impeachment, which is the other thing that I found very weird. How many self-proclaimed liberals were like, yeah, it was two consenting adults, I don't see what the problem is. I'm like, what the fuck? Did I wake up in the Twilight Zone? Why the fuck are there liberals in my mentions defending having sex with an intern when you're the president? That you couldn't create a larger divide of power.
You tried.
A larger power imbalance than the president of the United States and his intern. Like, there are minors who are more capable of consenting to sex with like a 20-year-old than a 22-year-old intern is capable of consenting to sex with the president of the United States. It's such an insane thing. And that at least is like indicative of cultural norms around this topic just not being what they need to be. But I was surprised to see how many liberals expect Republicans to say.
I mean, I was a kid when it happened, but I remember it was a big deal that it happened because Bill Clinton, he lied about it, and that's what got on the news. And then there was the build-up to the impeachment, and there were a lot of conversations happening on TV where they were talking to parents about the issue, and the number one thing was, well, this man's a liar, and this man cheated. A lot of people at the time thought the impeachment was for like adultery or something, but the one that I remember most, probably because I was a kid, was that I heard a lot of parents say they were really upset because now they have to tell their kids what oral sex is because they're hearing it on the news or something. That was a really big deal. But I don't remember hearing one conversation.
Which is weird because you should be telling your kids what oral sex is. That's just responsible parenting, is just comprehensive sex education.
I agree. But you want to do it when you're ready. I can see like, oh, I wasn't really having a conversation yet. This kid is 4 and they're at, but I mean, look, I'm fine with it. But I can see why people would freak out, especially just 30 years ago. And but I never remember hearing one conversation about an abuse of power in a sexual relationship. I never remember hearing, because like, I mean, it's not illegal. I mean, I got that part, but it would get you fired from most places, right? That if your boss, you can't fuck someone in your chain of command. I guess it happens all the time, but it's still obviously not cool.
Yeah, it's weird. It sucks that this still has to be a controversial thing, that like I still have to argue with people who are on the right side of the aisle it's a sexual, it is a sexual assault at the very least, to have sex with an intern when you're not the president of the United States. Like let's be clear. If you are the CEO of a company and you're having sex with an intern at your company, that's depraved bullshit. And should not be allowed in any sort of environment. And the fact that, like, yeah, we went through this whole thing 30 years ago and everyone just ignored that part.
They did.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
And I guess it does, like, this stuff seems simple to me, TJ. Like, I grew up with this. Not I grew up is not the right word, but like, at least when I went to college, this stuff was very openly discussed and talked about. And like, it's very much second nature to me. And it very much surprises me when I see grown-ass adults not getting it. And then I guess I remember, 30 years ago, they didn't even fucking consider it as a bad thing.
Look,
the problem was he cheated on his wife. I had multiple people be like, "Oh, so what? He cheated on his wife." I was like, "That's not the fucking. I don't give a shit if he cheats on his wife."
Yeah,
like that. That is so much less of a moral failing than having sex with an intern. It's insane that they would even think that was the problem.
It is funny. I don't remember who I heard say this a long time ago, but they're saying that when you watch movies made decades ago, they do a good job with trying to, wrap you in the period, but it's impossible to get correct because the past is essentially a different planet. Even when it's like the recent past, like but 30 years ago, and how no one, zero people. I mean, I wasn't. I'm the president. I hear everybody talk about it. I'm president. I hear everybody talk about it. But I didn't hear anyone mention this until a long time afterward. But even with entertainment, there was If you watch 80s comedies are essentially just an unending chain of jokes about sexual assault. Not jokes as in, oh, let's make fun of those guys. No, this is what guys did. In fact, you don't even go to 80s comedies. SpongeBob SquarePants. Panty Raid. Yeah. And that's what
that's children's programming when I was growing up.
Like in 2005 or whenever that was or something, there was an entire episode, part of the episode where SpongeBob, Patrick, and Mr. Krabs do a panty raid, and they played that for kids. And so, the world just changed.
Not to mention that SpongeBob's adult boss, which I will admit, SpongeBob's age is very ambiguous, but like Mr. Krabs is not. Yeah. And it's just like his adult boss is taking his employee out on a panty raid of teenage, like it. What? And that's it's sad. It's weird.
It makes you wonder what things will be like 20 years from now and what people will be like, wow, how did you not catch that? Because there will be something. There will be, guarantee, that you just don't think about. And I don't know.
Yeah, we will see. To address some of the comments here, because we got a couple of good ones. So Kyle said, Democrats are such hypocrites. They say Trump is bad because he's a sexual predator and then support Clinton and Cuomo.
Cuomo, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Democrats can never say that they have the moral high ground. They might not be just as bad, but they support rapists if it means more money for their donors. That's something I always say. Like the leftists who say they're equally as bad, they're incorrect. They're not equally as bad by any stretch of the imagination. Nope. The liberals who don't agree that they're both bad, they're far more off. Like that they're off to a greater degree than the leftists who say that they're exactly the same. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, it is sickening. There's like no death sentence in politics anymore. There used to be times when, okay, that's going a bit too far. But like whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, now listen, how do I phrase this? I don't like it. Like more on a moral level, I don't like it. But the Republicans embraced this a long time ago, that we don't care how awful, like how objectively terrible someone is. If they can win, we'll run and we'll support them. I get it. Like if you're a liberal and you think Cuomo is going to do a good job and you think that you're terrified of Mamdani because of socialism is bad, I don't know. And you're like, well, I think this will really get my policies across. I kind of understand it. I don't condone it, but I do get it.
That's the thing though, TJ. Like I at least can maybe understand that principle when it comes to a general election. Like, okay, if Cuomo was running for president against Donald Trump, I would vote for Cuomo. Mm-hmm. I would fucking hate doing it, but I would. Partially because they're both sexual predators. So like that one kind of just unfortunately cancels itself out. But also I'm taking a greater good look at this whole thing. But that doesn't exist for a New York City Democratic primary. The Democrat is whoever wins this primary. It's not like you're worried that Mamdani isn't going to be able to beat the Republican in the general. You're actually fairly certain that he is. Either candidate is going to win the general. You're now voting against someone who is farther left than you in order to support a sexual predator. You're putting the sexual predator in place for someone who is more progressive than you are. That I just find mind-blowing. Like when just the moral depravity required to be like, yeah, socialism is worse than sexual assault. Just hats off to you guys for having that level of cognitive dissonance. You would fit in well with the MAGA crowd.
Well, I mean, unless they genuinely believe it, though, I think they do. Not only that, it's like, for example, we think fascism is worse than Cuomo being a sexual predator. Yeah, okay, I'll vote for the sexual predator. But there's that they genuinely might fear a socialist revolution or whatever. But also, if you've been told that Mamdani is an anti-Semite and that he's going to be, destructive and he's a racist, I can see that. I can see is a strong word. Academically, I can process that of how they're so terrified of X, Y, and Z that they'll vote for Cuomo. But I don't know. It is depressing that folks are even capable of thinking that.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move ourselves back.
Yes.
So Kyle asks. We'll use Kyle's question here as a springboard for the. Oh, by the way, before we do that, any thoughts on Cuomo Mamdani Day? What's your call? Who wins?
Oh, I haven't been paying attention. I saw yesterday he pulled ahead, but I didn't even know they had ranked choice voting for mayor of New York. I found that out yesterday. Like, what's the situation now?
Okay. I live in the middle of the country. I don't get news anywhere. No. So the situation right now, the polling. First of all, I think ranked choice polling isn't where it needs to be yet. In order to be all that accurate, you will see polls right now that have Mamdani up 12 points. You'll see him down 12 points. Like the spread is just insane. I do the vibes, like just pure vibes, TJ. I think Zoran's got this. Like the energy is there in a way I haven't seen since like Bernie. And if AOC could pull off the upset she did, Zorhan is so much closer to doing the exact same thing than she was when she won. So like, I think it's a kind of a coin flip right now, but I would not be surprised. I would be more surprised by a Cuomo landslide than a Zorhan landslide at this point.
Oh, so I'm confused about what happened exactly. So from yesterday, I thought they held the primary yesterday.
No, primary's today.
Oh, it's today. Okay, so they held today. Okay, so that's what I saw. Sorry, today. And okay, so the polls were just about. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't seen the numbers on it, but
we'll see. TJ, we're gonna have if he wins, we're gonna have a whole segment on this on Thursday, and our guest is probably more liberal than most of our guests. So I'm interested to how that conversation will go. But yeah, anyway. So as I said, going on to Iran. Kyle asks, do you think Trump will suck off Netanyahu the way Trump's followers suck him off?
Sure. I don't know.
What do you think that relationship is like, CJ? The Netanyahu-Trump relationship? Because on one end, he seems quite annoyed by Bibi. On the other hand, he fucking like pushes his seat in for him, like a fucking servant. So it's kind of weird to me how those. How he views Bibi and Putin specifically.
I have a hard time with this Iran thing. Well, honestly, with Trump in general, I'm actually debating the efficacy of even talking about what Trump does. It's just like it just moves from minute to minute that nothing is ever solid. Like obviously he does what Netanyahu wants, or he's friends with Netanyahu. They've been planning this attack on Iran for a year now. It seems he clearly is buddy with them. But then he'll yell at him every now and then. He'll say to calm down. I don't know. I hate to go down that path that a lot of conspiracies. So like, none of this matters. It's all just a distraction. That is the vibes I'm getting from Donald Trump here. To the extent that, like you were saying, no one in the circle seems to know what's going on. I actually, for the first time in my life, I think the first time ever, I felt bad for JD Vance yesterday because I was thinking back when they put together that bombing of the Houthis, right? And the group chat got leaked and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And JD Vance is like, yeah, I don't think this is a good idea, guys. I was talking to the president and I said that, yeah, look, we'll do it if you want us to, but this kind of sends a mixed message about what our campaign was. And this is like, he's not acting here. He's talking in a chat that no one's supposed to see. So Vance is like, yeah, this, I'm sorry. I just don't get why this makes sense. But hey, this is my job. I'll go along with it. Then after this thing with Iran, he's like, yeah, of course we're not going to regime change. Next day, Trump says it. It's like, God damn, how could you possibly keep up with this? And that helped convince me more and more that I don't know if Trump actually has any plans here, other than getting his name out there and his his reputation being shaped in any way he wants. I mean, I don't think he has any actual strategy here, and I think that includes Benjamin Netanyahu. I don't think he's immune to that. I think that he does what he has to for his alliance with Netanyahu, but if it means making him look stupid or yelling, he'll do it because I really don't know. I'm stuck. I hate saying that, but I really don't.
It's been very difficult for me to talk about Iran specifically because it's such a weird situation that changes moment to moment based on the whims of a senile narcissist. Like it is incredible. Like I've wanted to make a script like on TikTok, like explaining the situation. I'm like, I don't have anything to explain. There's nothing to explain here. This is what happened. For anyone who needs the play-by-play here, a couple weeks ago, the United States was negotiating with Iran for a new nuclear deal. Now, the reason we need a new nuclear deal is because during his first term, Trump ripped up the old one. So, got to do it again for no fucking reason, right? And we're in the middle of this negotiation. We have a new talk scheduled. I believe it was on a Thursday. I think it was on a Tuesday. Israel went and said, nah, they're about to get nuclear weapons. We got to bomb them. And yeah, that's what fucking happened. And then that immediately, that same day, by the way, before that, we also said they aren't. Like Tulsi Gabbard said,
90 days ago.
nuclear weapons.
90 days ago.
Like that was the previous intelligence that we were aware of. And then that night that Israel conducts the assault, Marco Rubio puts out a very clear, very adult, very clearly worded statement of, hey guys, we weren't involved with this. Israel is crazy. They just went and attacked you. This isn't on us. Please do not attack us. That could create an unfortunate incident for everyone. And then the next day, Donald Trump just completely 180s on that. And there's been a lot of reporting about how the reasoning for this was that he saw the coverage on Fox News being very pro-Israel in their decisive military action, and he wanted to take credit for it, because of course he fucking does. And then he went and called Tulsi Gabbard a liar. And the next day, Tulsi Gabbard went out, oh yeah, guys, we got new evidence. And like, what actual reasonable person believes this shit? I understand Normie's not following it, but like, oh my God, we have Democrats who are on this shit, DJ.
Oh God, did you see Hakeem Jeffries?
Oh my fucking God, we're gonna get to that.
Hakeem Jeffries he's the gift that keeps on giving. I hope he stays in that job forever. It's so entertaining watching Hakeem Jeffries just fumble this shit over and over. But no, I mean, I keep asking myself how people can see this and see that this guy's a petulant man baby. This guy doesn't seem, I saw something last week. Donald Trump has either raised or lowered tariffs 50 times. 50 times in like a month and a half. He has just, jacked the market all over the place. I don't know how anyone has confidence in that. I don't. You can't say there's a plan. You can't. And they all say, trust me, he's some sort of grandmaster, incredible chess player. He's got this stuff figured out. And then you'll see him posting shit after, the bombing of Iran, saying, hey, Iran, now's the time to negotiate and come to the table. For what reason? I don't know. You've just guaranteed that they're going to supercharge a nuclear weapons program. But I'm sure you saw this morning, John, what Trump tweeted out after he woke up this morning and said, hey, we got ourselves a ceasefire, folks. Yeah, it's going to be the 12-day war. I'm gonna get the Nobel Peace Prize for this because I ended this aggression in 12 days. So let's everyone pop the champagne. It's good to go. And then it turned out, oh, I wish I had the clip. Did you see the clip where he talked about Israel violated the ceasefire right away?
I'll find it. I will find it.
Okay, all right. It's such a funny clip, but I'll pull up what he tweeted this morning after Israel and Iran violated his ceasefire 31 minutes into his announcement. And he wrote, Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Then, in all caps, Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you do it, it is a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. Donald J. Trump. And I just one of my favorite one right here. It came a little bit later. Said China can now continue to purchase oil from Iran. Hopefully, they will be purchasing plenty from the United States also. It was my great honor to make this happen. I have no clue what he's talking about there. Like none whatsoever. Like China has been purchasing oil from Iran for a very long time. Like they buy most of Iran's oil. They don't need Donald Trump's permission to do it. I just, even if you're his biggest fan, oh, you got the clip, I see.
Yeah. So what he's talking about there, by the way, TJ, is China has been illegally buying Iran's
illegally.
Oil. Illegally might be a weird word for it.
Yeah.
But Iran is sanctioned. China can't like officially purchase oil from Iran, so they just kind of like look the other way while their private companies buy oil from Iran, and that's kind of how it's been working for the past. I forget when these sanctions.
So they can continue doing what they've been doing the whole time.
Basically, yeah, essentially, yeah. So I'll put this clip. This is from this morning.
So great.
This is so funny. So we're just gonna go here.
Israel violated. Israel says that Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that? I mean, he's not wrong. he's right.
The funny thing is, I actually forgot about him dropping the F-bomb. I forgot all about that. I said, oh, that's
Isn't
right.
it wild, TJ? 20 years ago, that would have been a news story for a week, if not months. And it's not even blipping the 24-hour news cycle here, TJ.
No. What I love about that clip is he seemed genuinely surprised and hurt that his ceasefire didn't work. And I would just love to know how these phone calls went. Like, I imagine myself being, the Ayatollah or whatever, whoever's in charge in Iran, and Trump gives you a call saying, all right, I got a ceasefire planned out. And you and Israel are going to stop fighting, okay? And be like, sure, but whatever, man. Okay, 12 hours from now, 6 hours for you, 12 hours for Israel, as if anyone would agree to that. Right, that's the actual ceasefire he set out, that in 6 hours Iran will stop fighting, and in 12 hours Israel will stop fighting. And then he called Israel. They said the same thing. So Trump, even at its best, like the way he presented it, that I'll give you 12 hours and the ceasefire stops then. Why wouldn't they unload all their weapons in those 12 hours? I would. Why not? If you're telling me if that's the deal, I have 12 hours to fire as many rockets as I want, I'm going to fire the rockets. Yeah, but he seemed genuinely surprised. He said, I can't believe they're doing this. Why would they do this to me? Don't they know my Nobel Peace Prize is on the line here? It's childish. It's hilarious.
It is very weird. I mean, so here's the thing, TJ. I think you're actually giving him too much credit. I don't think there was a call. I think that Donald Trump said,
well,
I want to present a ceasefire proposal. And he was like, little Marco, where you at? We're going to do a ceasefire. And little Marco says, okay. And he's like, tell Israel and Iran these are the deal. And little Marco goes, okay, buddy. And he does. And he just says, yeah, it's totally good to go, Donnie. We're totally This is done. This is sealed. You're amazing. And Donald Trump then goes on True Social and says, we have a ceasefire deal. And Lil Marco goes, what the fuck? I was lying to him. No one, we didn't even call anyone. And he does that. Next morning, Donald Trump wakes up. They just ignored it because they didn't fucking know there was a ceasefire deal. And he's like, what the fuck are they doing? Donald Trump has surrounded himself with yes men for so long that he genuinely believes that he should be able to make truth exist because he said it. Like, he genuinely thinks that something should be true because he said it. You saw it with the Terry Moran interview after the first 100 days, where he was just like, Terry, listen to me. I'm saying it again. You're supposed to agree now. This is genuinely how Trump operates. You saw it there today, where he's just like, fuck these guys. Like, he knows he shouldn't do that. He was genuinely mad about this. And it's because he genuinely believes if I say there's a ceasefire, I'm the president, there's a ceasefire now. That's how this works, guys. And he refuses to just acknowledge it. That's not how things work.
Yeah, that is true. I think that he does seem to think that he can speak things into existence. And credit where credit's due. When it comes to manifesting, I don't know anyone who's done a better job than Donald John Trump. The guy manifested himself into the White House twice. I mean, he says stuff and it does come true. So maybe he thinks that's how it should work. I got to say, John, I meant to say this like 10 minutes ago, but whenever your fiance walks behind you in the video, she always covers her face, which I find very funny. I just find this, and does I've always been fascinated by the apology walk that people use, where you walk, but you want people to know. It's kind of like if you're walking on a wet floor, where you kind of step kind of slowly or gingerly and stuff. You're like, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt and everything. I can't say it, but I just want to show that my apology, and that always makes me laugh.
Well, it's funny. We actually had this conversation. Like, our neighbor suggested to her that stop wasting the opportunities. Just go by in a funny way. And so she started doing that more and more. There was the one time. It was the funniest time. I hope that people here are watching, when she thought that if she crawled across the floor, she wouldn't be on the screen. I don't know if you saw that one.
No,
TJ.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that. That's so funny. Oh, wow.
So I just watch her. She's just crawling. I'm just watching her.
Oh,
and
that's
I'm
so funny.
Dying of laughter. And I hope someone in the audience did notice that, because it was very funny. I think we were screen sharing at the time, so it might not have been as noticeable, but I was laughing my ass off. But yeah, it's so. I was at a Mexican restaurant, TJ, when we bombed Iran, and it went. The vibes in a Mexican restaurant are usually pretty joyous, it just immediate shift. Everyone's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And it seems already like things are resolved. It's actually stunning, I will say, the restraint that Iran has had from all of the things that we in Israel have done to them. I mean, I guess they don't have much of a logical choice in the matter, but I have all the criticisms in the world for the Islamic Republic of Iran and the current regime for how they handle things domestically. But gosh darn it, I'm very happy that they're sane people when it comes to their foreign policy.
I think when it comes to this happened. You remember when Trump killed Qasem Soleimani, also under the pretense of false diplomacy, where they invited him to talk in Iraq to discuss how to fight Al-Qaeda, because Iran is enemies of Al-Qaeda too. And then they killed him, just blew him up. And I remember the Iranian government retaliated against the United States by firing some missiles on some military bases in Iraq. But I also remember them saying, the news came out and said, the government of Iran told the United States military, we're going to attack this place, clear out your men, we're going to hit a bunch of buildings, we need to do a show of force. They did the exact same thing this time. The exact same thing. And so when I saw that, I said, they're not that mad. You're not, I mean, which makes the Soleimani one kind of puts a kink in this, unless they wanted Soleimani dead too. I can't figure that one out. But then I kept seeing reports. Trump said, and Vance said, that we've completely obliterated Iran's nuclear program. They knew this within 10 minutes somehow, and which I was already suspicious. I don't know. But by other reports, it said that Iran actually smuggled out the important stuff. They didn't damage anything. They had all their enriched uranium gone. And I was like, okay, so if I'm Iran, and you attacked a few nuclear facilities, who knows how much damage was done or if any damage was done at all? I don't know. And you still have the lion's share of your enriched uranium. I'm just going to get back to work building my nuclear bomb. Like if I wasn't building one before, I'm certainly building one now. And I could waste time starting a war with Israel, but once I get the bomb, I'm good. I don't got to worry about anything. So that I have no clue. I haven't had back channels to the Ayatollah, but that's just my guess on this. But that's I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we used to accept like millions from the Ayatollah, but
Right,
he's been
yeah.
quiet recently. But yeah, no, that it is, again, this is why it's hard to talk about. I actually think like I'm developing this theory that like the taco thing, right? Trump always chickens out. I don't think that's so much a weird flash in the pan of our current discourse, but the actual position of both business and world governments, because that's kind of what happened here. Iran was just like, yeah, they bombed us. We know they're not going to escalate into anything else. We're just going to kind of chill, and that's what they did. They closed the Strait of Hormuz, and businesses didn't really react like anything because they're like, well, this is going to be over in the next 48 hours, and it's kind of true. The only people acting like that isn't true is Israel. Like Israel's the big wild card here because Iran wants these things to just blow over and settle down. The U.S. and Donald Trump wants these things to blow over and settle down. Israel's the one instigating war. That has been the case this entire time. And if Israel's plan was to instigate this war, I wouldn't just stop when you've made so much progress. That's the big if here, and that's why it's so hard to talk about, because it's just like I don't know, I don't fucking know.
Well, Israel does want the war. Like Israel does want to escalate, but they can't. Like Israel cannot fight Iran by themselves. They would need full backing from us for it. So Trump, I imagine he doesn't want a full-scale war with Iran. Who would? But he's like, okay, well, I'll do this for you, but that's it. And Israel's like, okay, well, that doesn't really help us out any. And maybe they can keep doing like pot shots and everything. But Iran is, oddly enough, like in the actual power position here. They can just wait this out. And assuming Israel doesn't have the firepower to take on Iran, they don't. They never will. Iran said, okay, you guys can do your little bombings here and there, but 2 years from now, we'll have a nuclear bomb and we'll be cool. And unless the Israelis actually decide to nuke Iran, which would end society as we know it. Yeah.
Let's talk about that, TJ, because it is a war game I've been playing in my mind way too much recently.
We discussed this once.
Have we? Okay. So
it was with Russia, though, not
it was
Israel.
with Russia. So yeah, if Russia can't, I'm not so sure that Israel can't, TJ. I'm like I want to believe. Okay, if they nuke Iran, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens to them?
I think it's the same, honestly, because I have no idea. So with Russia, when we decided, because Putin made some sort of comment about nukes not being off the table, and the discussion we had in the show is, hey, if Putin actually did nuke Ukraine, what would happen? And we said, well, we're not going to nuke back. Which is funny because that's what this entire thing is based on. Like this entire paradigm is based on mutually assured destruction. I'm not convinced that it would actually happen. No one actually wants to end the world. And so what we settled on was there be an international coalition to at least take out Putin. So they stopped. So the next guy was probably not going to be dead set on ending the world. Now, if Israel would have the advantage that I don't think the United States would, maybe, who knows?
That's the thing, though. Yeah, I don't. There would be an international coalition. Like if Russia were to drop a bomb, they would probably lose the support of enough backers that Putin would be bye-bye, right? Like I don't think China would continue to tacitly be allied with Russia in the same way if they dropped a nuke. I think they would lose enough support that they couldn't continue to exist in their current form. I don't think that the United States would stop supporting Israel if they dropped a nuke on Iran. Iran can't nuke them back. And it's not like Russia's going to nuke Israel because we'll nuke them back. So, like,
Well, assassination
unless America decides you're on your own, Israel, after they nuke, which I think is a 50-50 chance at best. I don't think I don't know why Israel wouldn't just do it.
Assassination would still be on the table, just like it would be in Russia. It wouldn't be us. I mean, like the Chinese, the Russians,
but that's the thing.
they'd be a large coalition.
If you assassinate that, you would need at least the clearance. So, okay. I think it is more likely than not that the official position of the United States would be we're still defending Israel. Maybe we're looking for some sort of political regime change as a result of this. But Israel, by and large, would still continue. And unlike Russia, where you basically have a dictatorship, that's not actually the case in Israel. Like, Israel can kind of wash their hands of Bibi and just move on, which is a little bit more difficult than with Russia. And Bibi could set up some sort of plot. Like, who fucking knows? But like, I think America would have to say it's okay to kill him. Like, America would have to say it's okay. Go ahead and do it.
I think that I hate saying this out loud because I think that this was like 15 years ago. I'd be guaranteed the United States would still be on board. Now it'd be a little shaky, but I would lean more towards America would still back it. I'm not convinced that most European nations would. I'm really not. I think that would turn a lot of people. I think enough.
The European nations would turn on Israel 100%. A lot of them already have.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter because all that matters is the United States backs the military.
Well,
that's all that matters.
Because it wouldn't matter if that coalition would invade and like send an army, which they wouldn't do. I think it'd be the same thing we would do with Russia, where it would be some sort of like covert attempt, the United States can't stop that. I mean, we can't build an impenetrable wall to stop spies. That's not going to happen. I think eventually, I think it'd be kind of the same result. It would be a wild event, though. It would be kind of wild.
It is wild. We've talked about this before. It's wild that more politicians are getting assassinated. Like it can't
crazy,
be that hard.
Crazy.
Like we put a man on the moon. I think we can put some like ricin in Putin's soup bowl. Like it seems like I know that like there's the whole, hey, we don't want to create a power vacuum in this unstable region. That makes sense why there isn't more political assassinations. I don't understand why there isn't for states that would not have that power vacuum.
Like even on smaller levels, I don't know if we brought this up on the show before. I have definitely brought up the fact that I'm shocked there aren't more car accidents. As many as there are. I know car accidents are the second leading cause of death in the nation, but I'm shocked there aren't. I'm surprised I don't see a car accident every day when I leave my house and every day when I come back home. With the fact that people are eating and watching videos, reading articles, putting on makeup when they drive. I'm shocked that we figured this out. I'm also surprised there aren't more murders because, especially the United States, the fact that everyone has a gun, anyone can get one at any time. You don't need to buy one from a dealer. You can buy one from your friend or a family or borrow one. And as many mentally ill people that we have, people that just have bad days. I was at the Smithsonian years ago, and the Smithsonian is several buildings. It's not just one, for those who haven't been there. And there's a metal detector to get in. Good idea. I think that's cool. But what ends up happening is you have this line of like 50 people outside of every building. And I said, you could just kill these folks here. If you had a weapon, you could just mow them down in the street. I think the same thing about airport security. Airport security, giant line of people before you actually get past security, sitting ducks, every one of them. Sporting events, like these people, it's just a turkey shoot. Every time you turn around, I was like, I'm shocked we don't have more violence like this. It actually says a lot about us. It says a lot about human beings that we are actually as compliant and that everyone follows traffic laws. They don't have to. No, if we all decided to ignore traffic laws, they couldn't arrest us all. So, you know what? When we're getting down on folks, you know what? Pretty good. We're doing a decent job, I think.
So, TJ, this is one of the areas that you and me differ a little bit. In general, where I have a little bit of a higher... okay, I'll put it this way. I think that the reason you don't see more mass killings or generalized or murders in general is because humans deep down do not want to kill other humans. And I think there's evidence to this throughout history. Even if you just look at the lethality rates of our military pre and post World War II, you'll see that during World War II, you had a lot of people who never fucking killed anyone. And after that, we realized that was a problem, and we changed our training to make us way more lethal. Which is, I guess, a good thing for the military. But like, we had to train people that if you look at like muskets found at Gettysburg, most of them had 2, if not more, not bullets, whatever you call them, pellets loaded into them, because they just loaded and didn't fire because they didn't want to kill anyone. And that's the reason we have more murders, in my opinion. Also, the reason why you don't have as many wild assassinations like we saw last weekend. But that doesn't explain car accidents. I agree with you there. Car accidents, I don't understand how there aren't more of them. And also doesn't explain why there isn't more state or corporate sponsored assassinations, because we know those people don't give a shit about human lives. So like, what's stopping it from happening has always... I'm surprised there's not more corporate assassinations, TJ. I don't know if it's just kind of like a deterrence sort of thing, but like, that also surprised me, how there's not more like CEOs getting knocked off.
Well, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I think that most people don't want to kill people. Like, but I agree with you. I actually disagree with you that most people don't like the idea. If you see like a television program where someone is getting sliced open for a surgery, most people recoil. Like, that's just your average reaction. But I am saying it doesn't take a lot of people for that to happen. If you had like 0.5% of the population, I would still think that those like random people could do that, and it's very easy to do so. A lot of times though, it's just criminals just aren't that bright, turns out. It just turns out that they're just not that smart, is what it comes down to, honestly. But if we had like evil intent with a genius mind, you could get a lot done. I'm like self-incriminating here. If something bad happens.
I'm like I'm just waiting for a YouTube to shut this live stream down. Like, okay, this is too much. But it is very true. Just like, if you had a highly intelligent person, highly capable person who decided, I'm going to make change the bloody way, I'm just surprised it doesn't happen more often. And I guess the reason for that is people of that level of intelligence, there's usually a easier pathway to get what you want.
Yes.
And that's probably why it doesn't happen more. But like, they kill whistleblowers all the time, so I just don't understand why they don't kill CEOs. Like, again, it's not like corporate assassinations, state-sponsored assassinations don't happen at all. They do. It's just weird that they never seem to happen to bigger people. And it can't be because of the security apparatus. So like,
I think it probably is like risk reward analysis, because look, killing someone like paying for an actual murder, if you get caught with that, it's hard to get away unscathed. The more money you have, the more likely you are to get away with it, obviously. But is it a risk you're going to take if you don't absolutely have to? It's like, this will make me $500,000 more, and I don't really need. I can live without that, without stepping on a limb with that. And you can see it on a smaller level too. That a while ago, I made someone upset. Long story, and the guy wanted to like start a physical altercation with me. He wanted to have a fight, and he's like, "Yeah, TJ, this guy, he's not even going to fight." It's like, brother, I am 40 years old. Of course I'm not going to fight. I got shit to lose, okay? I know that you got nothing going on in your life, that going to jail and losing your job or your reputation, yeah, sure. If you got nothing to lose, a fight sounds like a great idea. When you actually got a decent life that you want to uphold, yeah, I'm not going to do something like that. And I think that really does, it answers the question for a lot of folks who are like, I don't have it all that bad. And so I'm not going to step out and take a risk on, like risk my health, my reputation, my career, my loved ones, my freedom for a fight and hurting somebody. And that's why, having the rules in place does kind of help.
Yeah, no, and it is. I agree. I think the same way, TJ. Every time I've almost gotten into a fight, I've de-escalated and gotten out the other side. I mean, 1 or 2 times I've had to put my hands on someone to defend myself. And like, even in those situations, it fizzled out pretty quickly. So that's our advice to the people out there. Don't kill people. Don't get in fights. It's typically not worth it.
It's
for
not
you in any way, shape, or form. Before we wrap up here, TJ, is there any other topics we haven't touched on today?
I'll save this one for Thursday. I don't know if you saw, there's some great videos of Dan Patrick, the lieutenant governor of Texas. He's very upset with the governor of Texas about a marijuana law. I don't know if you saw anything about that, but it's
I have not seen that at all.
more red on red violence. I love it.
I love the red on red violence. I also love Dan Patrick because every time I hear his name, I just think Danica Patrick, and I think of like the NASCAR driver.
Oh, weird.
I'm just like, wait, Danica Patrick, what?
Oh, I think of the Sports Center guy. I think of Dan Patrick, the ESPN host. That's
okay. There we go.
Yeah,
okay. Okay, cool. Well, I guess that is our show today, TJ. This has been the Left Wing Q&A. We will be back on our normal Thursday time at 6:30 EST. Our guest, I probably should have brought up his name, but interesting guest. He is not a political content creator. He's gotten into the political stuff on Threads, but his main content is fitness sort of stuff. He's a bodybuilder kind of guy. So we're going to be talking about, the realm of sports and politics, how they intersect, and how that can help answer a lot of the burning questions about masculinity and where it stands in the Democratic Party. So thank you guys very much. We will see you on Thursday at 6:30.
Later, folks. All right. Good game.